Brilliant. Thank you very much, Kira, for that nod to begin. So, without further ado, um, I'm Andrew Campbell-Edie. I'm Communications Manager at the Irish Centre for Diversity. Thank you very much for joining this webinar session. Some self-description to begin with. I'm a black man. My pronouns are he, him. I have close cropped hair on my head and a black moustache. I'm wearing spectacles and I'm in front of a white virtual background with a logo of the Irish Centre Diversity and our coloured triangle branding. About today's webinar, we recently held the National Diversity and Inclusion Awards 2025 to recognise and celebrate the valuable work being done to progress diversity and inclusion in Ireland. This webinar series has been devised to share the insights and experience from the sponsor, the winner, and the finalists so that any learnings can be applied to your organisation and to help with entering the next award cycle. Today's session focuses on the category Advancing Gender Equality. A little bit about that category. For gender equality in the workplace to be achieved, both women and men need to be able to enjoy the exact same opportunities, rewards, and resources. This award celebrates those making great advances in this valuable area. So some quick words about our sponsor. DBFL Consulting Engineers is a fully Irish-owned firm specialising in the planning, engineering, design and delivery within the property, infrastructure, environmental and energy sectors. They hold Investors in Diversity and are the proud first-time sponsors at the NDIA Awards. I'll shortly hand over to the award sponsor and then we'll hear from some of the finalists and then end with the award winner and then we're all wrapping up within the hour, hopefully. We're joined by Catherine White, our ISL interpreter. Thank you, Catherine. The session's being recorded and will be available on the Irish Centre for Diversity website shortly. Everyone is muted except the panel. Please share your comments in the chat function. We'd love to hear which organisations you're joining us from today. There isn't time for Q&As, but you're welcome to get in touch with any of our panelists on LinkedIn. Just connect with them and you can post your questions to them there. Right, without further ado, because we're pressed for time today, I'm very pleased to introduce our host for today's session, Pio Murphy, who is Associate Director, Transportation at DBFL Consulting Engineers, and he's also Vice Chair of Engineers Ireland's Inclusion and Diversity Society. Danny will share a light on their organisation's D&I advances and will lead what is sure to be an enlightening conversation. Before we start, it's important to mention that DBFL Consulting Engineers, like all of our sponsors and the Irish Centre for Diversity, had no part in the judging process and couldn't enter themselves. Danny, over to you. Pio, sorry, over to you.
No worries, Andrew. Thank you so much. And a very good morning to everyone. And as Andrew was saying, I'm Danny Pio, an Associate Director at DBFL Consulting Engineers and the Vice Chair of Engineer Ireland's Inclusion and Diversity Society. I have over a decade of experience in the engineering and planning sector, and I have collaborated with many of my industry peers to drive meaningful change, championing inclusive practices not only in the workplace, but and how we design and shape the built environment. I'm delighted to be here today as host of this webinar on advancing gender equality, a topic that is fundamental in creating a stronger and more inclusive future across industries and beyond. Before I begin, I'd like to give a brief self-description. I'm a cisgender man in his 30s. My pronouns are he, him. I have a short beard, green eyes, and brown hair. I'm wearing a blue navy jacket and a grey scarf, and I'm also wearing what I believe very stylish Madonna style headsets. Um, so just to begin, DBFL are so proud to sponsor this award because we recognize that achieving gender equality across the gender spectrum is not just a moral imperative, it's a business and societal one as well. The reality in many industries, including my own engineering, have long struggled with gender imbalance. For instance, in Ireland, women make up 14% of the engineering workforce, and even lower representation at senior levels. And just to give you how critical this is to my industry, we often talk about engineering as problem solving, but the challenges we face are much bigger than one person, company, or industry. Engineering is at the forefront of addressing the housing crisis, tackling climate change, protecting biodiversity, and leading the transition to a more sustainable future. These issues demand diverse perspectives, innovative thinking, and inclusive collaboration. And to meet this head on, we need everyone at the table, regardless of gender, backgrounds, and experiences. EDI is not just a social responsibility, it's a necessity to the future of engineering and big societal crises. The imbalance in gender diversity is not also about statistics. It's about the barriers, both visible and invisible, that we have historically limited opportunities for gender diversity across all professions, be it unconscious bias in the hiring and promotion process, a lack of role models, and structural challenges around career progression have all contributed to this imbalance. But the good news is change is happening, and today's finalists are at the forefront of that transformation. At DBFL, equity, diversity, and inclusion is not just corporate buzzwords. We are deeply committed and have embedded in our culture at every level. EDI. And what makes our approach so unique is that EDI is at DBFL is employee led. We have a dedicated team of passionate individuals who, on top of their day-to-day roles, actively drive initiatives to make our workplace more inclusive. And this grassroots commitment ensures that EDI is not an afterthought, but one of our is a core part of how we operate. And just to say just to show that this dedication to inclusion is reflected in our 85% inclusion score from the Irish Centre for Diversity, well above the industry benchmark. But we don't stop at our internal efforts. We actively collaborate with industry partners to drive change externally, including partnering with Engineers Ireland on EDI initiatives, signing up to the Association of Consulting Engineers D&I Charter, and of course supporting diversity and inclusion organisations, charities and outreach programmes to create pathways for underrepresented groups. And through these partnerships, we are working to create a more inclusive industry and for future generations. And at DBFL, we're not just talking about change. We are making it happen. And some tangible steps that we're taking is we're actively working to attract and retain diverse staff, ensuring our hiring processes are inclusive and that our career and leadership progression is equitable regardless of background through mentorship and CPD and EDI initiatives. We understand inclusivity extends beyond hiring. We support flexible and inclusive working arrangements and environments to accommodate diverse needs, recognizing that people thrive in different ways. And we are engaging with schools, universities, and industry networks to inspire the next generation of engineers, planners, and professionals. Through career talks, mentorship programs, and STEM outreach initiatives, we are breaking down barriers to show young women and underrepresented groups that they belong and that they can thrive in this industry. And as engineers, our responsibility goes way beyond our teams. The structures, the infrastructure, and the spaces we design should serve everyone equitably. That's why we embed inclusive practices in our projects, ensuring that the environments we create are accessible and beneficial for diverse communities. And we see at firsthand how diversity strengthens teams, fosters innovation, and leads better outcomes for businesses and society at large. EDI is no longer just a nice to have. It is essential for the future of work. Research consistently shows that companies with diverse teams outperform their peers. And more importantly, creating workplaces where everyone feels valued, empowered, and able to thrive isn't just the right thing to do. It is how we unlock the full potential of our people and drive meaningful change in our world, in the world around us. And that's why today's discussion is so important. And we'll hear from inspiring finalists who are not just talking about change, they're actively making it happen. Their work represents real progress in advancing gender equality. And I have no doubt we'll all walk away with valuable insights to apply to our own workplaces. And as Andrew was mentioning earlier, as sponsors, we had no involvement in the judging process. So we are as equally as excited as everyone listening in today to hear from all of these incredible finalists. And with that, I'd like to introduce and pleased to welcome our first finalists, Erica and Fiona from Aviva. And just to say that from the judges, they were very impressed to see Aviva placing such emphasis on succession planning with clear focus on diversity in your talent pool, with a special focus on female colleagues. And this is clearly paying dividends with women in senior management now making up 39.6%. Erica and Fiona, can you tell us how you are achieving such amazing results?
Hi, Danny, and lovely to meet you all. We're delighted to be here today. So just by way of introduction, my name is Erica Skelly. I'm a white female. My pronouns are she, her. I'm the talent acquisition and D&I lead for Aviva Ireland. I have long brown hair. Today I'm wearing a navy blazer, a white top, and I have green eyes. And I'll pass over to Fiona just to introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Fiona Mills. I am co-chair of our Balance community and I work as part of our communications team here in Aviva. I am a white female. I identify as she, her. Today I have a green scarf, a navy jumper. I have short blonde hair and glasses.
Great, thank you, Fiona. So just maybe just to set the scene a little bit, Danny, in Aviva, delivery of our D&I strategy is supported by our wonderful 5 D&I communities and Balance, which Fiona is co-chair of. They're fundamental in supporting us to advance gender equality, helping us create an inclusive environment, creating awareness of allyship, and really helping us shape and enhance our policies. So the journey towards equity requires continued sustained effort, collaboration, and a commitment to change. And the Balance community have supported us in doing all of that over the last number of years. So if we focus on succession planning, within Aviva, talent reviews are a core focus of our talent agenda. We review talent reviews are completed annually with our executive team to identify, spotlight, and develop talent across the organisation. But in the last 2 years, we have taken a strong focus to spotlight female, ethnically diverse, and part-time colleagues in the organisation to ensure we're really raising the bar in how we develop and progress women in the company. In the last 12 months, 56% of all promotions were awarded to females, and this rises to 67% at senior leader level. We've also introduced guiding principles for leaders to help us move the dial in this direction. So it's guiding principles at key moments of the recruitment life cycle to really strengthen our commitment and responsibility to equalise the pay gap, balancing remuneration across all levels in the organisation, and making sure that through the recruitment process that we have a balanced view, we have a balanced shortlist, we have a balanced interview panel, and then when we get to offer stage that, it's being looked through from a D&I lens and that the gender pay gap is a key consideration at that point. Also, as part of the Global Aviva organisation, we have the opportunity for females to access global talent development programmes with an international focus. We also provide sponsorship and mentoring across our pipeline of females to accelerate the movement into senior leadership roles. And we've seen that succession planning has worked really, really effectively at a local level in the last 12 months. So currently our business representation of female leaders is 44% against a target of 41% across both our life and GI business. And this is an uplift of over 5% on our 2023 year-end figure. So, you know, we're quite proud of, I suppose, the advancement that we've made. We've a lot done, we've a lot more to do. You know, we are aware in terms of gaps within our gender pay gap. We feel through the initiatives that we're putting in place that, you know, we're definitely going in the right direction. As I said, Fiona's committee, the Balance Committee, are fundamental to helping achieve all of this. So I'm going to pass over to Fiona for a second just to talk through some of the focused interventions that we've been looking at over the last year in particular.
Thanks, Erica. I'm sorry, I'm moving our camera because we're operating off a phone propped up, very high tech, because Zoom doesn't work on our laptops here. So hopefully everybody can see. So yes, as Erica said, the Balance community in Aviva is one of 5 D&I networking groups who form a huge part of supporting what our people team are delivering and what our whole company delivers in relation to D&I. And they're such great groups to be part of, and I'm really proud to be part of the wider group. So I'm just going to mention a few things that we have done over the last 18 months or so. We have 3 pillars in our Balance community: education, change and support. And a really big part of what we do is creating engaging events for our staff to, I suppose, highlight different topics, to bring them on our journey, to talk about topics that maybe are important to both males and females in the business. A couple of things that we did last year, we had a really successful panel around International Women's Day on imposter syndrome with 2 of our senior females. It was so successful that we had colleagues joining from all 3 Aviva locations: Canada, UK, Ireland. There was barely any room on the teams for people to get on. It was so successful. So that went down superbly. We also had kind of a spotlight on male allyship throughout the whole of last year. We had it as a thread running through a lot of our comms that we sent out and through a lot of our events. We also collaborated with our Pride community throughout Pride Month, with a coffee morning, kind of to show our allyship, I guess, to Pride and everything that Pride do for Aviva also. Another big thing that we did, and something that we're really proud of in Balance, is our big Balance quiz. So this is something that is now going into its 3rd year. And it's a major event that we deliver, something that was an idea that our committee had over the last few years, as a fun event outside of work hours, to have an educational but fun evening to bring our staff together, to have a fun night and to educate them. And it's turned into a really, really important key night in our calendar. And we're in planning for it for this year again. And what we really like to do, and what the great thing about this quiz is that it has brought together the various different generations in our business. So we feel it's not the same group of people who always go to the Balance events. We've kind of tapped into the younger generation in Aviva, and we feel like it's just an amazing opportunity for us to get our message and our mission across to the different areas of the business that we might not necessarily have gotten to before. So yeah, look, Balance is an amazing committee to be part of. And as was said on the call earlier on, feel free to connect with myself and my other co-chair, who's Karina Galvin, or anyone in Aviva Balance on LinkedIn, and would love to chat and love to collaborate and love to learn from each other.
Right. Thank you so much, Erica and Fiona. That was just so insightful and great work you're doing in Aviva. And just to welcome our next finalist, Sabina Cotter from McCann Fitzgerald. Just to say, the judges wanted to really said great things about your female mentorship program, as it was really noteworthy in their eyes, with senior female leaders within your organization receiving tailored guidance and support. And these initiatives, coupled with the support of diverse aspirations, means that there are supports irrespective of which path you choose. Now, I know you're cut for time, you have to drop off at 10 a.m., but could you elaborate on your mentorship programs that you're doing in McCann Fitzgerald?
Yeah, hi everyone. Good morning. My name is Sabina Cotter. I'm head of responsible business here in McCann Fitzgerald. We're an independent Irish law firm with approximately 6 to 100 colleagues working here. I am a white female and I identify as she, her, and I'm currently wearing a green blouse and navy blazer. I suppose firstly to kind of give some context of us as a law firm. So gender is our strategy around gender is led out by three of our equity partners here in the firm, working very closely with my team here in responsible business, HR, and also we have over 30 colleagues involved in various subcommittees to drive our DE&I education and engagement, one of those being a gender subcommittee. So I suppose for a law firm, one of our challenges is like across the gender balance. Like we have excellent gender balance at trainee level, at associate level, but we do experience, because of the nature of a career in law and the time of training to become a lawyer working in a corporate law firm, that we do have challenges in terms of our partnerships. Sorry, so our partners. So the percentage of our partners in our firm who are female. So currently our firm, 34% of our partners are female. So in terms of making a really, I suppose, meaningful target for the firm, it was around the gender of our partnership. So one of the things that has actually really helped us in terms of formalizing our commitment is the Women in Finance Charter, because that is a public commitment, and we set a target to achieve 40% female partners by 2030. This has supported us further in ensuring that gender is a group leader agenda item, so that's constantly like that we need to set targets to meet targets. And we also need to ensure that we're very strategic about the supports that our female colleagues need in terms of reaching this target. So one of those, as Danny Pio mentioned, is the MF Connects program. And I suppose that's a really innovative program that is led by our HR training and development team and our partners here. And it's got a few elements. One of it is that each colleague that goes on the program, they have a mentor who is a partner in the firm. There's also quarterly group events and then 3 special mentor-mentee events. So like the types of workshops which we host for this cohort are around leadership, career planning, skills development, business development, networking skills. And I suppose there's that kind of there's that piece that it does have that kind of reverse mentoring effect, so it's a space where our colleagues can share their experiences, and also a really great opportunity for them to grow their network in the firm across all levels. So actually it's really nice timing, because tonight we're starting our new cohort on that program. So that program has been launched later tonight. And so some of my colleagues are working very closely on that, and we're getting great feedback from it. And it's something that we are constantly reviewing and, getting feedback from our participants in terms of what's working, what they would like to see more of. Because of the constant changing needs of our colleagues. Another program is our MF Evolve program, and that's for colleagues who are going out on maternity leave or returning from maternity leave. So all those kind of, supports there to ensure their transition is supported, and that they get the extra and additional mentoring, and they have a space where they can speak about their challenges in terms of the challenges and also the opportunities, around returning after maternity leave. obviously our strategy then, our policies are really important, I suppose. Most relevant, last year we launched a menopause policy to support our colleagues and have a lot of education around that in terms of external speakers and education sessions. And then I suppose like different involvement, like the 30% Club, where we're involved in a really exciting piece of research with the 30% Club at the moment and professional services companies and firms and the challenges that females have within that sector. So that's a really exciting piece of research that is just being launched currently. And I suppose also as a firm, and this kind of falls into our community impact space, we're also very passionate about what we can do to give back. So we're very proud to partner with the Shona Project, which is an amazing project that empowers young girls of today to be future leaders and teaching them resilient skills. So we host a lot of workshops here. We fund a schools program. And it's really great. And, you know, even things like bringing girls in our lives into the firm. We have workshops with the Shona Project where our colleagues bring in their younger sister, or they bring in their daughter or their niece or their granddaughter or whatever it is, to kind of to talk about kind of female empowerment. So yeah, so in summary, that's our current strategy.
Brilliant. That sounds wonderful. I was just going to cut you off there because we've got a lot to get through, but that's a great one to end on, great high to end on. Thank you very much, Sabina. Back to you, Danny.
Thanks, Andrew.
Thanks, Sabina, and thanks for sharing all your insights and work in McCann Fitzgerald. And I know you're dropping off, so I hope you enjoyed the rest of your day. So our next finalist is Zoe Deverell from ESB, and the judges commented on your partnerships with organizations such as PWN and the 30% Club to increase levels of female leadership in the organization. And this coupled with your award-winning Managing Successful Parenting Transitions program, which supports parents of all supports parents of all genders as a key element of driving gender parity in ESB. So Zoe, could you elaborate a little bit more on all of these amazing works?
Yeah, thanks, Danny, Pio. And look, we're delighted to be here with you all this morning. So thank you so much for having us. Very quickly, my name is Zoe Deverell. My pronouns are she, her, and I am the head of diversity, equity and inclusion at ESB. A very brief visual description for anyone who might need it. I'm a white woman in my 30s. I have straight blonde hair, about shoulder length, and I'm wearing a black turtleneck. I joke all the time at home that I'm in my Steve Jobs outfit right now. That's typically what I work from in home. So if you can picture that. So look, at ESB, gender equality is not just a goal for us, it's a fundamental value that drives our success. And I know Danny Pio touched on that in his opening as well, which was great, but it's absolutely something that is paramount to our success as a company and is very much so intertwined with our business strategy. We know that having the right people capability and the right gender balance is key to us sustaining our progress into the future. But that said, you know, participation of women has been traditionally low across the energy industry. And at ESB, we've set our own ambitious target for women to represent 30% of our workforce, which doesn't sound huge when you think about other industries and sectors. But when it comes to the energy industry, that will be quite the feat for us. And we are progressing in the right direction. So women now hold 27% of all roles at ESB. 35% of senior manager roles, and that's increasing year on year, 40% of our executive committee roles, and 42% of board level roles. I think it's also worth mentioning that women hold the majority of roles within our non-STEM business units. So our 30% target really means particular focus towards attracting, developing, and retaining women within our STEM business units. Look, I know a few of you probably, or many people on the call might be aware, the Balance for Better Business report launch actually took place earlier this week on Tuesday in IDA Ireland. And ESB was actually included as a case study on advancing gender equality. So I might just run through just some of the highlights from that really quickly. So I suppose under planning and measurement, our board oversees our DEI strategy. I think that's really key for us. This is absolutely being driven from the top down. Our Safety, Sustainability and Culture Board Subcommittee regularly reviews our DEI strategy and progress. And the board also has a dedicated DEI policy, which is published on our website as well. Ownership of our target then sits with our executive committee. So that's really important because this needs to be seen as a business target rather than a HR target or a DEI target. And each business unit then is responsible for identifying and delivering actions that focus on the attraction, development and retention of women in their respective areas. We have a suite of internal gender dashboards which provide kind of a comprehensive view of our representation across the entire employee life cycle, from attraction right through to exit, and by pay, by level, by role type and by business unit. So that's really helping us to focus on areas of impact and measure progress against our target. In terms of succession planning, we include gender analysis within our succession planning model, within our integrated business planning and annual pay and performance cycle. And that again allows us to put the right interventions in place where any gaps do exist. In terms of talent development and retention, we recently launched a bespoke career development program. We've called it Pathways to Success to women across ESB. This program was actually designed by women for women at ESB, following kind of extensive focus groups and workshops, which is great. Participants on the program said they felt empowered to explore and navigate career opportunities. It increased their confidence and also fundamentally provided a safe space to benefit from shared experiences. And I'm going to say this to anyone who'll listen, because I don't know how long this will last, but our latest Net Promoter Score for that program is 97%, which we're really thrilled with. We have long-standing engagements with schools through ESB Science Blast, the STEM Transition Year Programme, school visits, connecting women in technology. And the aim of these initiatives is really to increase the number of girls choosing STEM in school, because we know that sometimes by the time we get to second, third level, a lot of the time it's too late. So we really need to be, placing those interventions at primary level and secondary level of school as well. Through our Energy for Generations Fund, we recently partnered with Trailblaze Her, which is from TU Dublin. So this is a community of people, organisations and enterprises with a shared commitment to advancing gender equality. And really that's looking to support and advance STEM opportunities for women at second, third and beyond their educational level in the workplace. Our parenting programme, which Pio mentioned, provides parents of all genders with the tools, skills and support they need at each stage of their parenting journey. And we offer this programme to all parents with the aim of levelling the playing field. At ESB, we also recognise, I think it's important to call this out, we recognise gender exists across the spectrum. So in 2024, we actually launched our first policy around gender identity and expression. And really what that is doing is codifying practices very much so aligned to our values, which have been in place at ESB for quite some time. So the purpose of this policy is really just to ensure our employees feel safe and supported to bring their whole selves to work. In terms of recruitment, we recently introduced our ESB inclusion principle. So this is a commitment to seek gender balance at interview stage, because we know that ensuring a diverse slate of candidates at that stage really will support our efforts to increase gender diversity across ESB. On that as well, our job descriptions, use gender neutral language, and our templates have been updated to include our commitment to DEI. We also share roles on external job boards, such as the Open Doors Initiative, Business in the Community, and recently Back to Work Connect. Lastly, then, in terms of leadership, we've embedded DEI principles within our competency-based selection processes for managers and within our leadership development programs. Our executive committee undertakes regular inclusive leadership training, which is being rolled out to all senior managers this year. And we also encourage colleagues to attain cross-company experience and development through internal mobility or rotations, because we know that providing colleagues with the opportunity to grow and develop internally helps us to retain and nurture the best talent. And lastly, just to say, I am very conscious of time, but just to say, look, it's an honour to have been shortlisted for this award. A lot of work has gone into this. It's great to hear from the other finalists and to be in such great company today. So thanks to the Irish Centre for Diversity, the judges, and to everybody on the call.
Thanks so much, Zoe, anyway. And it was just great to hear of all of the work and the systems in place in the ESB. And it is showing great results, as you were saying there anyway. So thank you so much. So I'd like to welcome our next finalist, Tony Kerwin from Circle K. And just to say, from the judges' front, they love Circle K's strong focus on identifying traditional male-dominated roles and investigating barriers to female candidates. So, Tony, would you be able to tell us more about what you've learned from this process?
Yeah, thank you, Danny Pio. Thank you, everybody. Just by way of introduction, my name is Tony Kerwin. I'm Senior Manager of Human Resources for Circle K Ireland. I'm a white male with black, slightly greying, short hair, and I'm wearing glasses today. So, yeah, just to kick in, Danny Pio, just first of all, echo Zoe. My God, it's amazing to be part of this, cohort of people and group, and to sit with your own lens on every single day, and you look at what you try to do in the DE&I space, and you're working towards greatness, and you're working towards change, and then to be in this group and listen to all the other initiatives that are going on, it's enlightening. So delighted to be part of it. So yeah, Circle K Ireland, we're a forecourt retailer. We employ just under 2,400 people across Ireland, and just I suppose it's probably an initial step to think about the different diversity of functions within our organisation. So hopefully, many of you will have shopped in our retail forecourt or high street stores. So that's, I suppose, the initial brand piece. There is a support office in Clonskeagh in Dublin that employs in around 200 people. And we do have terminal teams. So terminal teams are the guys in Dublin Port and Galway Port that facilitate fuel coming into the country. So underneath the Circle K brand, there are different diversity of teams that do different things to bring your to make your life a little bit easier in terms of shopping when you get to one of our stores. And the reason I say that is that, and you're right, Danny Pio, in terms of historically, much of or many of our positions would have been male dominated. So over the last number of years, we've worked hard to begin to, I suppose, discover and untap and learn and disrupt thinking within an organization in terms of why is that the case, and how can we create a more equitable field for all genders. I suppose you asked me, what did we learn? We learned that change doesn't happen quickly. It's a slow and continuous improvement. It's not a light switch solution. But I suppose two pieces I've learned. One is from, and I think Zoe mentioned it, is about leadership buy-in. It's about this, I suppose, wholesome cultural change has to happen when you've got support from senior executive at board level. It needs to be that kind of authentic, integral conversations in every day in what we do every single day. We've got Circle K values of one team, do the right thing, take ownership and play to win. So if you think about that, even our one team value and our value around people taking ownership of their own decision making and how they show up to work. And then if you think about doing the right thing, and that value absolutely sits into the area of DE&I. Underneath that, we've also got a very strong global and local sustainability strategy that has three pillars around planet, prosperity, and around people. Underneath that people agenda, we do have, like some of the other speakers, we've got global gender equality goals, and we've got a number attached to that. But it's not really, I suppose, about the number. It's about more for us locally. It's about more about what change do we need to incorporate in terms to get there. And so we looked at our organisation, and as I've said, we've got our retail teams, and a couple of speakers mentioned succession planning, and I believe succession planning in this area, like authentic and effective succession planning, where it's really wholesome. That's where continuous change comes in. And for us, it's really starting at like our shop floor level. We really, at recruitment, even before recruitment, at the attraction stage, we looked at gender decoding on all of our adverts. We looked at inclusive language, really starting at I think somebody used the word grassroots, and really starting at that grassroots level. Is that the way we're communicating with our customer and our candidate? Is that inclusive? Is that just really, I suppose, gender neutral? So we started there. We then introduced CV-free recruitment methodology, which means that candidates don't upload a CV anymore. If you come to work in one of our retail stores, we have set up on situational judgment testing, and we've got scenario-based questioning. So gender doesn't come into it, age doesn't come into it. So there is no CV. It's a completely CV-free environment when you come into one of our stores. And then from there, over the last number of years, we looked at some of those practices. And what we saw in terms of percentages, we saw a great shift in terms of percentage, not just in gender, but in the other areas around that our DE&I committee look after, around gender, age, and so on. Excuse me. What that then, we found that it moved into assistant store manager and store manager, where we saw naturally that the succession of the gender of people within our stores had a natural move to it. We did identify about last 12 months. We identified a stumbling block within the area manager role, and that area manager role, we then spotlighted that, like some of the other speakers, in terms of at International Women's Day, at interviewing those women that were doing that role, to really get under the bonnet around changing perspective of what was needed in that particular role. Then from a succession into support office and corporate and roles within the organisation, we did lots of the events, maybe that some of the speakers have already spoken about, the spotlight around a DE&I committee with gender equality, one of the laser focuses on their really tactical pieces, events in the office and so on for International Women's Day, looking at succession, looking at talent matrices, and really having a spotlight in terms of where the gender piece sat within that. So we've got over the last number of years, as I say, lots of work from a grassroots level. Delighted to say that in 2024, we've in our leadership on board, we've got 62% female representation, which is amazing, absolutely amazing. And in January 2024, the first ever of all the previous brands that we've had, but the first ever female CEO was appointed to the organisation, Ciara Foxton. So, and who is an absolute advocate of gender balance and equity and inclusion. So I think somebody mentioned, I think maybe the ladies at Aviva said, lots more to do. Yeah, Circle K is the very same. I think everybody sitting around this virtual table, there's always stuff to do. But again, going back to, I think, one of the other speakers saying that this is not just a light switch thing or a short-term focus. It needs to be integral in the culture of every single organisation, and that's continuous change. So that's
absolutely. It's a race, not a sprint. So thank you very much for that, Tony. Right, we do need to move on. Over to you, Danny Pio.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tony. Amazing work in Circle K, and my applause for such great results anyway. So our next finalist is Trevor Sinnott from WWETB. And just to say, Trevor was highly commended in this category. The judges were really admired how you were transforming the uptake of apprenticeships by female students and inspiring other education training boards to take equally bold measures. Trevor, can you bring us through your key achievements in this area? It's so interesting.
Yeah, thank you, Danny Pio. My name is Trevor Sinnott. I'm the service.
I don't know, but I can't hear anything.
Oh. Sorry there, Trevor.
Trevor, we just lost you there. If you could repeat what you just said.
Yeah, am I back?
Yeah.
So back. Trevor Sinnott, Service to Business Manager here with Waterford Wexford ETB, and responsibility for apprenticeship and business engagement. So I'm a white male, pronouns, he, him, brown hair with natural grey going through it at this stage of my life. I'm 50 years of age, short beard, wearing spectacles, brown, blue suit, sitting in my work office with a lovely Lilies on the Pond Monet behind me here. It's only a fake, don't worry, folks. So yeah, we're absolutely delighted within the team, within the organisation. Anybody familiar with Waterford Wexford Education Training Board? We're the statutory authority for Waterford and Wexford to provide further education and training to our region. And delighted to say our senior management team is made up of 60% females, 40% male. Our chief executive is Dr. Karina Daly, appointed in 2024. So she's a champion for EDI, equality for all. We're an equal ops employer. And we've recently embraced the whole idea of full accessibility, not only to our buildings, to our documents, to anything we publish. It's full accessibility across the board. Within my own particular unit that I manage, the service to business unit, where the female scholarship sits within, I've got a team of 9 senior training advisors. Delighted to say 70% of them are females, which has been a male-dominated area for, I would say, 40 years. Okay, and now 6 of the 9 are actually females, and they're the ones that are champion the whole female initiative out there in industry. In 2019, we came up with the idea, staggeringly, when we looked at a report telling us 73% of students of LGBTIA plus felt unsafe in education, which was alarming. And then we came up with the concept in 2019. In 2020, we were hit with the dreaded, I won't mention. And in 2021, we were back on track and we registered our first recipient to the female scholarship. And what it actually does for us, this young girl, seeing one of our female senior training advisors in their school giving a talk on the importance, and I think you mentioned it yourself earlier, Danny Pio, the importance of having a diverse workforce in engineering. Every one of the craft apprenticeships is an element of engineering. And this young lady listened to another female apprentice that we brought to the school with us for peer-to-peer learning. And suddenly we unearthed her in an engineering company, and now she's following the path of an electrical instrumentation apprentice. The employer is absolutely delighted with her because she's brought that whole different way of thinking to the maintenance team within the company, and that whole fault finding. She approaches everything different, and I suppose if us males are to be truth and honest, women have far more finesse, far more attention to detail than any male has, from my experience anyway, of dealing with apprentices for a long time. The organisation also looked at bringing in the Rainbow Initiative, which was an initiative that we upskilled all our staff into to become responsible adults for the community of the LGBTQ.
I'm really sorry, but you've dropped out again, and we are up against time. So it might be that we speak to you offline and get your highlights, and then we'll share those later on.
Perfect.
But in the meantime, thank you very much for that. I think we'll move on. Over to you, Danny.
Thank
apologies
you.
again.
No worries. Thank you, Trevor. The insights
You're
you gave so far sound really great and just inspiring. Our last finalist is our winner of this award category, Irish Rail, and today represented by Sam Riggs. A massive congratulations, Sam. And just to say, Sam, I think anyone that heard your acceptance speech at the awards couldn't help but be moved by your passion for equality in this space. From the outreach to women in the traveling community, increasing participation of all genders in the apprenticeship programs and partnerships with organizations like Back to Work, ensuring that returners get the support they need. Irish Rail are showing great leadership in gender equality across all possible areas. And now, I have two questions here, Sam. First off, what does winning the award mean to you? And what are the next steps for Irish Rail in this area?
Of course. And just FYI, I'm getting an occasional message that says my connection is unstable. So if I drop, let me know and I'll pop my camera off and that tends to fix it. So thank you, Danny Pio. Just to start, my name is Samuel Riggs. My pronouns are he, him. I'm the Equality, Diversity and Inclusion Manager at Inrad Éireann. We are Ireland's national rail operator.
Sam, I'm so sorry.
I'm just slowing down. Sorry. Yeah, that's
just a little bit. Thank you.
No worries. I'm a white man with blonde hair and blue eyes, wearing a maroon jumper and a headset with a large mahogany door in the background behind me. So winning this award means absolutely everything to us. We were highly commended in this category in 2023. And so finally hitting the threshold for the award is amazing. Thank you to the Irish Centre for Diversity, to our judge, Siobhan Sweeney, and to all of the fellow nominees. We're definitely in amazing company. And I've been taking notes furiously to copy some of your homework, I'm not going to lie. That's the value of things like this. I think there's a way that we can learn from each other and collaborate. What I think has changed since we were highly commended is that gender equality has gone from piecemeal work to a streamlined strategic goal for us. And it's finally recognized as something which drives growth and improves us as a business. Like ESB, our EDI steering committee is attended by our board, our CEO, and our leadership team, who help guide our focus and assist in driving change from the top down. EDI is regularly welcome to board, and we're delighted to have a board that puts such a value on the piece. And I think in the current climate, it's fantastic to have senior leaders who are speeding up when it comes to EDI rather than slowing down. So there's a reason gender has become a focus for us at Irish Rail. Currently, we have 12% women in the workforce across all grades. We just tipped over to 12% last year. We also have 17% of all of our senior leadership are women. Our board is 55% women. And when it comes to our gender pay gap, it's in favor of women by 6.29%, which is down from 7.72% last year. And there's a context for this reduction. Women are very represented in our administrative, executive, clerical grades, but less represented in our frontline shift worker and night worker grades. And that's where we're trying to put the most emphasis. We've seen great success so far. Last year, we saw the first female plate layers, permanent plate layers employed at Irish Rail, and the first female tugboat driver in Rosslare Europort as well. We faced a threefold challenge when it comes to promoting gender equality. We are a male-dominated industry, and recruiting women is a big challenge. Retaining and celebrating the women we currently employ, and then encouraging more young women to consider careers at the railway. It's not a place a lot of young women might traditionally look for a job. Gender equality has become embedded across all of our teams, and I want to give a couple of special shout outs. Our recruitment teams now have very gender balanced recruitment advertisements across locomotive driver, station operative, and they use gender decoders as standard across our job applications. Our talent development team, alongside the Professional Women's Network, run our Women in Leadership program, as well as one of our headline events that happened last week, I Wish, encouraging young women to keep STEM careers front of mind. I think we welcomed about 3,000 girls onto special services to attend the I Wish Expo. I also want to shout out our health and wellbeing team. They recently created a menopause guide, which provided guidance for those experiencing menopause, as well as for managers working at Irish Rail to help support women experiencing menopause as well. And then they also run a number of women's health workshops too. Our Shine Women's Network are amazing, and we also have a working parents network, which is comprised almost exclusively of women. Shine helped to bring events outside of Dublin and have run events in Athlone, Portlaoise and Cork, and their remit is to bring women together with networking opportunities and bring in expert speakers. The Working Parents Network shine a light on the issues parents face and run workshops on things like promoting sleep for children, digital lunch networking for busy parents, and they take a gender-free approach, making sure parents of any gender can engage with their workshops. We've massively expanded our International Women's Day celebrations. We host every year alongside colleagues in the Chorus Umpa Erin group, a huge celebration. But last year, we also gave women the opportunity to engage one-on-one with a professional coach with expertise in coaching women. Similar to ESB, we run a number of schools programs as well. We are investing in promoting STEM and transport careers to girls to encourage the next generation of the railway. Our average age at Irish Rail at last measurement was 47. So we're very excited to keep encouraging younger people into the railway. We run an in-house program for women in STEM, and we're currently partnered with 6 all-girls schools across Dublin and Leinster, and we're looking to branch out beyond Leinster in 25 and 26, and we engage 15 female volunteers across a variety of sectors. We work with PTEC in Dublin's northeast inner city across 6 schools, and we do workshops with a team of talented female civil engineers across junior cycle, and this year we'll welcome our first senior cycle students as well. We run the Towards Your Future program with business in the community, and we work with St. Patrick's College in Cork, working with senior psycho girls to get them ready for the world of work. Our partnerships are also key to our success, and you've heard Back to Work Connect mentioned a couple of times. While anyone can use their services, it is overwhelmingly female returners to work, and we've seen massive success with our job adverts. We've conducted a review of our built environment and welfare facilities and have applied for funding to allow us to build toilets and other facilities where none existed before to enable women to participate in frontline career days. We also run Try a Trade days, welcoming members of a variety of groups into try apprentices, including the travelling community, and we've worked with the Irish Traveller movement in this regard. We also have embedded female participation at a top level in our CEO goals, which include headline goals like doubling the number of women by 2030 and 25% of all new recruits being women. And we're proud to say that to ensure that we were on track for doubling the number of women, we had to hit 608 women employed by the end of 2024. We have sailed past that at 615 as of the 1st of January this year, which is great. So I suppose to round out, our key goal that we are embracing in our Vision 2030 is that Irish Rail is an employer that hires, retains, it promotes and uplifts women. But as well as that, we also want to engage men on the conversation. And we have a great relationship with the Men's Development Network. And we've hosted our first International Men's Day last year. And we've also have a robust trans guidelines for staff since 2018, providing advice and guidance for people transitioning at work and managers and team members of those transitioning to help provide support. What's coming next is that we're going to establish a gender task force led by our CEO to include senior leadership as well as women across the business. We want to expand our dignity and respect policy to put a spotlight on sexual harassment. And we want to support this expansion with a program of visits to night and shift workers. Finally, we want to position ourselves in the job market as an employer of women through a robust female-focused recruitment campaign, and also encourage women to apply for promotions through workshops and cross-promotion of internal mobility programs. I'm conscious we have a minute left, so I'm going to stop there. Thank you all very much.
Thank you so much, Sam. And again, congratulations on winning the awards. Just absolute applause there. And just before we wrap up anyway, from me as host anyway, I'd like to thank Erica and Fiona, Sabina, Zoe, Tony, Trevor and Sam. It was just amazing to hear all of the stories. It's just brilliant to hear all of the good work that you're doing, and just to say that your work is just so transformative and it has echoes of everlasting goodness and compassion and impact on so many individuals and communities. And I would just like to say from me, and I say a lot from the people listening in, is thank you so much anyway. You're doing such great work, and it was great to hear all your stories. And again, appreciate everything you do anyway. And with that, I'll hand you back to Andrew to wrap things up.
Okay, Mike, you've made my wrap up very simple. I took lots of notes like everybody else on the panel, and I will share those in social media later on when we share the recording. But wonderful to hear all the tremendous work that's being done out there that doesn't often get the spotlight shone on it. So thank you to the panelists, and thank you to the winners. Thank you to everybody for sharing all of those stories. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Danny. Thank you to, sorry, Danny Pio. Thank you to DBFL. Thank you all. And that's it. We're up to time. So thanks for joining us.
Thank you all. Bye-bye.